Hey Stampers, welcome to Brandyscards. I hope everybody's doing good out there, and I hope that you're ready for a fun Stampin' Blends blending project. So today's card is one that I've really enjoyed coloring, and many of you have actually received this card out there. This was my April host code card, and the gift in April was the Stella glitter pen. And so my goal is to create a card and, use some flowers and some spring colors. And then I wanted to show you a way to use that glitter pen on that project. And so many of you received that from me, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And enclosed, you also got a PDF. But I thought I would share it via video too, because sometimes it's fun just to see it in action and how you create it. So I just thought that might be kind of fun. So here's the card that we're gonna create today. Oh my goodness, I just love it. So I don't know if you can see, but as I turn it, it just glistens in here. And that is our Stella glitter pen. So I just think that's beautiful. And then of course the thank you sentiment is nice. And then you'll notice the Happiness Blooms enamel dots or shapes right down here. So that's nice as well. And so those colors just pop beautifully, and they make such a nice spring card. Not to mention, it's just fun to use your Stampin' Blends, your alcohol markers. They're super cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys really quick that there is a PDF to download, and that's on Brandyscards, and you can see it here. So this is going to give you all the sizes and the dimensions and the colors that I used. So I'm pretty excited to offer that to you. It's a free download, so just feel free to pop over there. Also, I did kind of what I call Stampin' Blends success. And so many of you have asked me questions about when do I use this and how do I do that? And so I was really excited to kind of do come up with, 15, 20 bullet points to help you be successful with your Stampin' Blends. So this is actually, this is available for download, and it's gonna be in this post called Accent Blooms. So you can get that on Brandyscards as well. And that, of course, is a free download. It's just there to help you guys. So, all right, are you guys ready to get started? So I do have quite a few Stampin' Blends here. I've got the Highland Heather set. I have lovely lipstick, Calypso Coral. I have the Pineapple Punch, but of course you can use Daffodil Delight. I have Granny Apple Green, one Night of Navy, and then I have the Balmy Blue. So many beautiful colors, kind of rainbowish, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get started because I'm really anxious to show you how I colored this. So I've just got my Whisper White cardstock. This is my base. I'm just gonna fold it and kind of prepare that. Then I also have a Night of Navy piece of cardstock. Now, if you're new to Brandyscards and you're like, where are the directions? No worries, there's a PDF that's available on Brandyscards. And if you can't find the post, just go up to the search bar and type in Accented Blooms. That is the name of the stamp set. I'll show it to you here real quick. Accented Blooms. And so that's how you can find it. Or you can click on videos, and then all the videos that I've done come up, and you'll see a picture of this card. Just click on that, and that's where you'll find all of your sizes and dimensions and that sort of thing. And then if all else fails, send me an email and I'll make sure and get that to you. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna glue down our Night of Navy cardstock, and you just want it flush. And so I've just got that flush to the top of my card. And then what I'm gonna do is I have a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock, and I actually liked this piece popped up. So I'm gonna add some Stampin' Dimensionals behind my Balmy Blue cardstock. And then I'm gonna just add it to the top of my card. I liked the dimension there. So I'm just gonna take this and add that right here to the top of my card. Perfect. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready and we are gonna color our card. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you're going to grab the stamp, all right? And I have Memento ink here, and that's because we're using our alcohol markers. And I find that it's easier if you turn the stamp and then the mementos, you just kind of tap here on the top. Okay, so I find this to be a lot easier and it gets it inked up really, really well for you. So just tap that a few times, get it good and inked up, and then you have your Whisper White cardstock. And I'm just going to stamp it straight down, straight up right here in the middle, and that turned out beautiful. So that worked well. All right, so now let's color our card. So, you know, you can start wherever you want, of course. So many beautiful colors to start with, but I think what I'm gonna do first, let's see. I think I'm gonna start with the lovely lipstick, and we'll kind of work our way over. So what I did, and so of course there's lots of different ways to color with blends, but I'm gonna show you how I did it today. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my light, lovely lipstick and just very, gently color the big flower, all right? And so one thing that I found is you don't necessarily have to color all the way to the edge. And the reason is sometimes it'll bleed over the edge. So, just color close to the edge, but you don't really have to get right up on the edge, unless of course, you really want to. If that white space bothers you a little bit, you can certainly do that. So now I'm moving on to the little flower, and you can see I'm just kind of coloring it lightly. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my dark, lovely lipstick, and there's a couple different ways. If you wanna blend it, you certainly can. I'm just kind of doing wispies here. And the little wispies I'm just kind of following the lines in the flower and just kind of really gently kind of adding some depth by doing that. Now, if you feel like the line is a little too harsh and you don't like that and you want it blended, you certainly can blend it. Just come in here with your light marker and just start coloring over it, right? And then of course that's gonna blend it out, just like that. And so you can even say, okay, well, I kind of liked those lines a little brighter. So come back in with your dark marker and you can kind of go back over it. So that's the nice thing about blends, is you have that flexibility, okay? All right, so now let's move on to our little purple flower, which I think is just so pretty. And so here's a dark Highland Heather marker. And I'm just gonna start here in the center of my purple flower and just kind of add a little bit of dark purple here, or dark Highland Heather. And then I have a light Highland Heather. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna do my circles and start to kind of push that color a little bit outward. And so my idea here is because the yellow that I'm gonna put in the center, the pineapple punch, just really pops it beautifully. I kind of wanted the center to be darker and then the color to be lighter towards the ends. But maybe you like it the other way around. So, that's the beauty of Stampin' Blends and, it being your project. So you can do it however you would like, of course. All right, so let's move on to our big yellow flower. And so what I'm gonna do, this is Pineapple Punch, and I believe it's the dark one. I'm gonna start right here in the center. I'm gonna color my pink flowers in the center and kind of give them some pop. Then we'll move over here to our Highland Heather purple flowers. You can already see when you add that yellow, it really brings it to life. So now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna move on to our yellow flower. And I just sort of colored it super fast. I didn't worry too much about it. I just kind of did some circular motions and sort of just colored it kind of fast. And so that's pretty much it. Now I've got Calypso Coral. And so I'm gonna take my Calypso Coral markers and I'm gonna start with the dark one. And I'm just gonna kind of go along these little wispies here in the flower. And that's the same thing I did over here with the pink flower. And this is how I sort of added, how I added the dimension to the flower. Now you can see there's something missing. So I just picked a few spots on the inside of the flower to color, just so it all sort of stayed, within, it just all like coordinated or, stayed in the theme, I guess. So here's the light Calypso Coral, and I'm gonna use some circular strokes and I'm gonna kind of move it outward. Just like that. And I'm just very carefully, now I'm only coloring with the light Calypso Coral, I'm only coloring the petals that I added the darker Calypso Coral to. You guys see that? And so now I've got to add a couple here so it all matches, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that Highland Heather marker. And I'm going to use my Highland Heather marker to actually blend it out. And you'll notice, I feel like when you do this, it really brightens the card. It really brightens those petals and kind of, it definitely blends it nicer. And don't forget to color the center and blend the center as well. And of course, if you feel like you want to add more depth, you can add the darker Calypso Coral back onto there, right? All right, so let's move on to our balmy blue. So I have a light balmy blue marker, and what I did here is just really quickly, I just sort of colored it really quickly with the side of my marker. I really loved this one being blue. It really added some nice color. And then what I did is I have a darker balmy blue, and I just sort of just did a few swirlies in there. Nothing too crazy, and I didn't get too specific. But with the dark, let's see, this is the light Night of Navy. I actually did pick a few petals, and so I like to kind of work with odds. So maybe pick yourself 4 or 5 petals, maybe 6, 7 on your big flower, okay? And then go over to your small flower and just find a few little petals and add some dark to it. Some light Night of Navy. And then you go back and grab your balmy blue pen and just start kind of swirling on top, and that's gonna blend it and make it a little softer so that dark color might not be as harsh, all right? Okay, so now I'm super excited to add the Granny Apple Green. Then it's going to totally come to life, and then I hope you go grab your Stampin' Blends and get coloring because it is so much fun. I just really, really enjoy it. Okay, so here's light Granny Apple Green. So I started here, and I just went down my stem, colored my leaves. This is just kind of a one-time coloring. Just real simple, just color everything quite quickly. And I'm not, you know, I'm not really doing anything spectacular here, just kind of giving it a once light color. And I'm going to go back to my dark Granny Apple Green and kind of add a little bit more depth. So here I'm going to come up to my petal and just add some color up in here. I'm going to trace the lines in my leaf, just the same that I did in the flower, but now I'm just doing it on the leaf. And that's just adding some depth and dimension. Over here, I'm going to color a couple, pieces of my leaves. Then I'm going to set the dark one down, and I'm going to just sort of, when I say blend, there's not a whole lot to blend. They're little leaves, but I can certainly get in here and kind of do a few swirlies and soften some of these lines. And so I do recommend that. Just kind of soften some of those lines. All right. So I think we are good to go. What do you guys think? Pretty cool, right? And pretty easy, not too difficult, and just a lot of fun. And of course, you can always change up these colors. You do not have to do it as I've done it. You can switch it up if you would like. So now that we have our card base, we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna add our, accented bloom to that. So I had to look there for a second to make sure, because I believe I popped this piece up as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add some Stampin' Dimensionals behind this piece and pull these guys off. And then we're going to move on to our, I believe it's called Tailored Tag. And we're going to move on to that. All right, there we go. Oh, it just looks so pretty. I absolutely love it. But wait till you see the sentiment on there. All right, so here is the sentiment. I've been doing thank you for my host rewards, but how about we do hello? Let's switch it up a little bit, right? So I'm just gonna ink this up really, really good. Just you can kind of look at it, do a few taps, just make sure you've got a nice, good coverage. Push pretty hard, and oh, it's stunning, right? It's just so pretty. I absolutely love it. I love it. All right, so here is your tailored punch. And so we're gonna make sure that's dry. I don't wanna smear it. I can see that since I re-inked it a little bit, it's just a little bit wet yet. All right, so I'm gonna get in here, and I like to punch so that you can see what you're doing. So I punch it where I can see inside the punch. All right, so that just kind of makes it a little bit easier. And now I'm going to add a couple Stampin' Dimensionals behind my hello. We're going to add an embellishment and we will be all done. See? Pretty cool, pretty easy. So here we go. We're going to just center that. Look how pretty that is when you center that. It really pops beautifully. I just love the hello in there. All right, so now I've got my Happiness Blooms enamel dots. If you don't have enamel dots, that's totally okay. Grab yourself some rhinestones or some metallic pearls, or you know what, you can put any embellishment you want on there. And if you don't want an embellishment, that is perfectly fine too. All right, so there you go. I think we are all set. This is my fun Accented Blooms card. And do you guys see what's missing? Has anybody seen what's missing yet? Yes, it's the Wink of Stella. So here we go. We got to use the Wink of Stella on there. So if you haven't used this guy, this is an amazing glitter brush. It is like super, super cool. So when you get it and you take it out of the package, you're going to go, okay, how do I get this thing to work? You're going to unscrew it and there's a little black ring right here. So you take that ring off and then you screw it back on just like that. And then when you get it good and tight, you can pull it off and then you can see you've got your brush. And so the glitter, then you just kind of gently squeeze it and be patient and kind of hold it in a downward position and you'll see some of the glitter come down through the pen and into the brush. Okay, so it's really easy to assemble. And then once you do that, then you have your glitter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some, I'm going to add some glitter to my blue flower right here at the top and a little bit here. I'm even going to make some glisten on my leaf. And then I'm just going to come to my flower and really all I'm doing here on my flowers is just tracing these lines. Just adding a little bit of shimmer and then here in the dark places at the top of the flower. And then a little bit on my purple or my Highland Heather flowers. It really makes the colors just kind of pop beautifully. And then we're going to add some here on our lovely lipstick flower. And then I thought it was really nice to kind of trace my word, my hello up here. I just thought it looked really nice with that traced. And then you can add some shimmer on the word hello. And it just looks lovely. All right, so we are all done. And as you can see, it does have that beautiful shimmer, which I love so much. And your card could have that too. So you can use the Wink of Stella pen on almost any project. It's pretty fantastic. You'll find it in the new catalog as well. Speaking of new catalog, I have to show you the cover. I can't show you the inside yet until June 4th of 2019, but it's coming. And if you've made a purchase with Brandyscards, you should have one of these, you should have received one of these. And if you haven't, that's okay. Just let me know. Sometimes mail can be a little wonky, so just let me know and I can check that for you and make sure to get one out to you. And of course, if you're new to Brandyscards and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, send me an email. I'd love the opportunity to help you too and earn your business as well. Thank you so much for stopping by, everybody. I hope that you have a fantastic day and that you go grab your blends right now and color something. Thanks. Bye, everybody.